A group called Republicans for Harris are hoping to convince Republican voters who don't like Donald Trump to vote the Democratic ticket in 2024. It launched with 25 endorsements. The group holds out as being Republicans. But are they still Republicans, or are they former Republicans? The campaign's official announcement on Sunday said the goal of the program is, quote, to reach the millions of Republican voters who continue to reject the chaos, division, and violence of Donald Trump and his Project 2025 agenda. And the list of names includes former Congressman Joe Walsh, an outspoken Trump critic, now an independent, who previously vowed he would support any Democrat over Trump. There are no current elected Republicans on the list, but also among the 25 names, former Congressman Denver Riggleman, who said he's no longer a Republican 2 years ago, and former Congressman Adam Kinzinger, who has been battling with Republicans for years now. There's also former Trump officials Olivia Troy and Stephanie Grisham, both now MSNBC regulars. Former Georgia Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan, now a CNN contributor, says the Republican Party is broken. Now, I'm not judging anyone for their choices. I am trying to figure out what is a Republican these days, because a lot of the people on this list, all of whom the Harris campaign are touting with the label Republican or GOP, seemingly haven't been a part of the GOP for years. Joining us now is John LeBoutillier, a former Republican congressman from New York, one of the 25 named. And you said to me, even as I was talking about this at the beginning of the show, I am a Republican. You are still a Republican?
I am. I became a Republican when I was in college at 18 years old. I've been a Republican ever since. Donald Trump, when I ran for office at the age of, I was 27 when I got elected. I knew Trump. He was a Democrat. He was funding Democrats. All through the 80s, all through the 90s, he's giving money to the Democrats. I'm a Republican. Now, all of a sudden, he comes into the Republican Party, and he and his ilk are going to tell me that I'm not a real Republican. And frankly, it ticks me off. I was a proud Reagan Republican. I had a very good record in Congress. And I'm not letting these MAGA people tell me what I ought to think and do.
But some of the folks in the group of 25 have distanced themselves from the Republican Party.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But they, in their hearts, they're all Republicans. And we feel terrible about what's happened to the Republican Party. I'm staying, though, Dan, for a reason, which is the day's going to come, Trump's going down, hopefully this November. MAGA is going to go down. And what's going to be left is a broken party that needs a new reboot. And I want to be part of the reboot to bring this thing back. The Reagan Republican Party was the greatest force for good in my life, and it can come back again.
As a supporter of Kamala Harris, because she's the candidate running against Trump, when you heard that she did not pick Josh Shapiro and instead picked Governor Walz, what was your reaction?
I wanted Shapiro. I wanted Pennsylvania. I liked Shapiro. I followed him from afar, but...
You worried Walz is too liberal?
No, not in the slightest. I think Walz got off to a great start. In the end, I don't think we're going to be talking about Walz. We're going to be talking about Trump and Kamala Harris. And if it's more about Trump, he's going to lose.
Let me play a piece of sound. This is Claudine Schneider, a former colleague of yours in the House. She's actually one of the people who filed the lawsuit against Donald Trump to try and get him off the ballot in Colorado. Here's what she has said previously.
Speaking of the MAGA dominance of the Republican Party nationally, how do you see the future for the Republican Party at the national level?
Well, quite honestly, I do not see any future for America until all of the Republicans are resoundingly defeated.
Can she still call herself a Republican? And yes. Talk about defeating all the Republicans?
Yeah, I think she can. I basically share her opinion that to save this village, we have to burn it down and rebuild it. That's basically the attitude.
And so all Republicans...
And by the way, there's a reason for this. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but what this current MAGA movement stands for is un-American. To be more in favor of Vladimir Putin than people fighting for their freedom in Ukraine, to be more in favor of a felon being in the White House. We used to be offended by bad behavior, bad character when it was Bill Clinton. When it's Donald Trump, he's Bill Clinton on steroids. I don't hear any criticism.
But when it's what you hope the Republican Party would be, hasn't that party left you behind? I mean, isn't the Republican Party no longer your party?
It is not, at the moment, it's not my party. But like I said, it's going to lose, and when it loses, it has to be rebuilt, because our system can't work with one viable political party. You have to have two. We really only have one. And they're doing okay. The Democrats have been fairly responsible, I think, as a national party. The Republicans are irresponsible.
But wouldn't you, again, have rather seen other candidates other than Harris and Governor Walz as the choice here, as a Republican, right? I would think that you would want the most moderate Democrats possible. And I would
By
think
the way,
that
Republicans for Harris began 6 weeks ago as Republicans for Biden.
Right.
And Biden dropped out. And what are we going to do? A couple of our Republicans dropped out, said, I can't go for Harris. But the rest of us said, what are we really about here? We're trying to stop Donald Trump from getting back into power. I really don't care what Harris does as president. I just want her to win this election. We have to defeat Trump.
And to the Republicans who say, you're not one of us, your response is?
We'll find out in November.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.